Wednesday night yin. Let's wait for the video to actually start. All right, we're gonna start today. You're gonna use your bolster if you want to. So you're already doing that here in the studio. I try to get different colors of stuff today, so maybe you can actually see what's going on down here and it's not all black. But we're gonna come and you're gonna sit against the bolster. You can lay back on it. Now, if you already have it under your legs or something, that's fine. Just stay there, right? Maybe you can be here. Maybe you can butterfly your legs. Right? Maybe you extend them. If you have a bolster already underneath your legs and you want to stay there, right? Maybe you just take the bolster underneath your feet and you butterfly your legs like that. I can't see my head now. That's all right. Right, so I just want you to find somewhere comfortable to be. Maybe you're not using the bolster at all because you don't like it. Maybe you don't have one. It's all good. Right? Just find somewhere to be on your back where you're nice and comfortable. Where you're going to be able to let yourself arrive. Let me get the music started here. All right, so like always, you're going to take your first few moments to get that focus to the breath. Oh, plug in. See, this is my phone. Again, so we're going to take control of the breath so much that we are going to move a little bit tonight once we've arrived. But right now, just let that breath take over. Let it guide you, ground you to your mat. So you can find yourself here. Just fully present to your mat, your practice. Find yourself fully focused on your mat, your practice. Alexa, play the music.
The station, Meditation, on Amazon Music.
you're ready, start moving here, right? Just take your knees, hug them into your chest. Let's do a couple lumbar circles at first. So if you have that bolster underneath your back, right, you're gonna roll to the side. Let that bolster go off to the side. We'll get back to it in a second. Let your back be flat on your mat. And we're just gonna circle around. Let your knees go over to the right and push them away from your body. Bring them to the left and then bring them all the way back in. So we're just circling around here. And then from there, take a little pause, go the other way. Take those knees over to the left and bring them out and to the right and back in. Circle around 3 times here. Bring it back to center here. And then from there, now you're going to take your hands to the crease of your knees. Now we're going to rock up, right? And we're going to come into easy sit. Right now you're welcome just to sit in easy sit like we always do, right? If you want to, you can sit on your bolster or on a blanket, right? Just want to let your hips tilt a little bit forward. And sometimes a bolster or a blanket can help that, right? Sit on the very edge, right? See how my hips are on the very edge, and then as I cross my legs in front, it makes my hips tilt a little bit down. And that's what we want here, right? So if you can get there, go there. If that's not gonna work for you, you can sit with your hips flat on the ground, and that's fine too. All right, now, as you inhale here, right? First you take your right hand, and you're gonna put it on the edge of the bolster or on the mat next to you, right? Mine's on the mat next to me right now. Or I could put it on the edge of the bolster, right? But what we're gonna do from here, you're gonna take your left hand up to the sky, right? And then bend into your left elbow, touch the right side of your head with your left fingertips. And then you're gonna pull your head over to the left. Now take your chin, tilt it up to the right, like the right front corner of the room. So you're trying to create that space between your right ear and your right shoulder. Take just a couple more breaths right here. And then release with that left hand. Let both arms come out to a T here, right? Your palms face down. And now we're going to twist to the right. Just draw that right hand back. Reach that left hand forward. So you're trying to open your chest as much as you can towards the right side of the room. All right, now bring it back to center here. And then you're gonna take that left hand, drop it down either to the mat or on the edge of the bolster or the blanket. Take your right hand, reach it up to the sky, and then bend into your right elbow, bring your right fingertips to the left side of your head, pull that head over to the left, tilt your chin up to the sky. Hold here for 3 more breaths. Now, as you come up here, right, you're gonna release that right arm, take your right arm out long, bring the left arm out long. Now we're gonna take that twist to the left side of the room. So you let that left arm go back, reach your right arm forward, just turn your torso here towards the left wall. Now bring it back to center here. And let your arms relax down. Now from here, you're gonna take your hands, right, and bring them to your knees. Again, it doesn't matter if you're sitting on a blanket or you're sitting on the bolster or you're sitting flat on your hips, right? But you're gonna take your hands, bring them to your knees. Now lean forward. Let your elbows go out to the sides, right? So I'm bending my elbows, they're going straight out to the sides. You're gonna push into your left knee here. Push your left arm straight, so you're leaning to the right. And let yourself lean back, let both arms straighten. Then you're gonna lean over to the left. So your left arm bends as your right arm straightens, pushing into that right knee, and then you bring it all the way forward. So just circle around here a couple times. Do that one more time. And then next time you're leaning all the way forward, just come to a stop. And let's go the other direction here. So you're gonna push into your left leg, push yourself over to the right. Push yourself in, push into your right hand, push yourself over to the left, then lean back. Then come to the right, and then lean forward. So it's the same circle, right? Don't let anything I just said confuse you. You're just going the opposite direction now. Did I even switch directions? I don't know. Just make sure you go both directions. A couple more rounds here. And then come to a stop. Next time you're leaning forward, you're gonna bring yourself all the way up. Take your hands all the way up to the sky. So reaching up high, lengthening out your spine. Now from here, take your right hand and just drop it down again like we did before. This time, right, you're just gonna lean to the right. Maybe you can get your palm flat to the ground. Reach those left fingertips over to the right side. So letting that left bicep come right over your left ear, keeping your chest open. And then push away from that with your right hand. Bring both hands up here. Now we're gonna go the other way. You're just gonna drop that left hand down. Reach the right hand up and over. And then bring both hands up here, reach up high. Now you're gonna sweep your hands back behind you, interlace them behind your back. Pull your shoulder blades together, push your knuckles towards the floor, right? So you're pushing your chest, your gaze up towards the ceiling. It's like a big back bend here. And come back up, bring your shoulders over your hips. Now, release your hands, take them back up to the sky again. We're just gonna do a basic forward fold here. So turn your palms towards the front of the room. Let your hands come down in front of your right shin and just walk as far forward as you can here. Letting your head come between your shoulder blades. Try to keep your hips grounded, whether that's grounded to the blanket, to the bolster, to the mat. Walk your hands as far forward as you can. Now, slowly walk it back up here. And then we're gonna switch sides. So what you're gonna do here, right, wherever your legs are, just switch your legs. So you're bringing that opposite leg in front, right, your more awkward leg. This is where it can really help sometimes if you're sitting on something, on a bolster, on a block, on a blanket. Not that you have to, right, but it helps it feel a little less awkward when you switch and put that other leg in front. We're gonna do the same fold here. Take your hands up to the sky, turn your palms towards the front of the room, drop your hands down in front of your shins, and then walk it forward here. Same thing, just walking as far forward as you can while you keep those hips grounded. Slowly bring yourself up here, all right? And then from there, we're gonna bring ourselves all the way around into tabletop, right? So if you're sitting on a bolster, if you're sitting on a blanket, move the bolster off to the side. Maybe you want that blanket under your knees. Tabletop, maybe do a couple cat-cows here with the sun right on me right now. So actually it's good, right? It lights me up, it's okay. if you're watching at home, right? Kind of going with it here in my face, but it's all right, right? So we inhale, lift the chin up to the sky, tuck the tailbone under, let the belly drop. That's cow. As you exhale, tuck your chin to your chest, round out your back, hollow out your armpits. That's cat. So just keep moving here. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Right? We're just trying to get that spine moving, get that synovial fluid going. And this is yin, right? So you're like, why do I have to match my movements to my breath? You don't really have to, right? But you're just kind of letting your breath guide your movements. Think of it that way. A couple more rounds. All right, and then we're going to meet back in neutral tabletop. Now, as you come to neutral tabletop here, you're going to push both hands away from the mat. And we're just going to bring it up into a high kneel. So high kneel looks like this, right? So again, if you have that blanket under your hips, or if you want to put one under your hips now, under your knees, you can. Right, reach up high. Now, take your right hand and just drop it down. You're gonna let those right fingertips come towards your right heel. Right, so let me turn sideways here so you guys can see. Right, leaning back. Now maybe you can touch your heel, right? Maybe you're just on your calf. You can have your hands on your thigh or on your low back if you need to. But you're leaning back and you're reaching those left fingertips towards the back of the room. Just take 3 breaths here. And we're gonna come all the way up, reach your arms up overhead again. Now we're gonna go the other way. So you're gonna drop that left hand down. Reach your left fingertips towards your left heel. If you don't grab your left heel, again, if you're on your left calf, if you're on your left thigh, you can put that palm on your low back, pressing into your left hip. But you're leaning back, you're reaching back, opening everything up. 3 more breaths here. Now, bring it all the way back up. Right, now we're going to come to our full camel. So you're going to sweep your hands back behind you. Put your hands on your low back. Right, so now I'm pulling my shoulder blades together, right? And I'm going to push into my low back with my hands. You can't see me. There we go. That's better, right? Pull your shoulder blades together. Push your hips forward. Take your chest, your gaze up to the ceiling. Now you can slide those hands down, right? They come down. Maybe you can get them to your heels. I can do it if I tuck my toes. I can get myself to touch my heels. But if you can't, right, then you're just keeping them on your low back. Maybe you can do it with your toes untucked. You should do that. Take 3 more breaths here. Waking the back up. Now, rise up. Sweep your arms up overhead. And then we're all going to take it back down into tabletop, right? So you're just going to drop it back down to that hands and knees pose. Now, as we come to our hands and knees pose here, give myself a little bit of space. Right, I'm going to take my right foot and just step it out to the right. All right, so now my right hip is right over my right knee. My right heel is in line with my left knee. My shoulders are right over the wrists. Now, push away with both hands here and just rise up into gate, right? So just like that high kneel we did, except we've got this hand out to the side now. So reaching up high, lengthening everything out. Now drop your right hand to your right side and reach that left hand up and over. Side gate. Come up here, reach up high, and then you're going to dive down, push your hips back, let your hands come back down to the floor, and then step that right knee back in, back to your tabletop. Let's do that the other way. So you're going to step your left leg out to the side, put this way so everything stays on camera. Right, you still want your shoulders over your wrists. You want that right hip right over the right knee, left heel lined up with the right knee. Push away from the mat, bring it up to your gate. And then from there, drop that left hand along the left thigh. Reach the right hand up and over. Come to your side gate. drop down. You're gonna push your hips back, drop your hands down to the mat. So we're coming here, back into tabletop. So take your left knee, step it back in. So you're back in your regular tabletop here. Now, what we're gonna do here from our tabletop, start to walk your hands forward, right? Keep your hips over your knees. So you wanna walk your hands a few inches forward, and then from there, bend into your elbows. See if you can drop down to your elbows. Let your hips stay high. Keep your hips over your knees. Put all this stuff here now. All right. Here we go. Walk my hands forward. Drop down to my knees. To my elbows. My hips are still over my knees. Now, you can tuck your chin to your chest and let your head kind of drop between your shoulder blades. So you're looking back at your knees. Now, if you want to here and you have a block, right, you can use that block. Bring it. Let the crown of your head land on the block. Now the block at the medium level or at the low level. It just gives yourself a way to support your head without getting it all the way down to the mat. I want you to be comfortable here. Stay here a little bit longer. All right, now we're slowly going to come up here. Push into your palms. Let your arms come back up. Let your head lift. Look forward, and then walk your hands back so that you're in regular tabletop. All right, so this next move we're going to do, a little bit funky, right? You have lots of options here. I didn't bring a blanket over, but I have all the other options, right? I have a bolster, I have a block, right? You can always use a cushion from your pillow or something, or any kind of blanket to do this, right? But what you're going to do, you're going to lay down on your belly. I'm going to try to do it with my bolster here, right? So I'm going to lay down on my belly. I'm going to put the bolster right under my hips. Right? So it looks like this. And I'm coming all the way down. I'm going to take my forehead to the mat, take my hands back, bring them on either side of the bolster. So it's like this, right? You can let your shoulders come to the mat. You don't have to keep them elevated. Let everything relax. So that's me doing it with the bolster. Or you can do it with a blanket if you want to. Or just roll the blanket up, high or low. Or you can do it with a block, right? So I put this block right on my hips, and I come down here. You do it with the block. You don't want it too high, right? Because it'll press in your belly. So these are all good options. Just trying to get those hips a little bit elevated here. Now let everything relax. If you need a blanket or a block or a bolster, anything that you have underneath your head, right? You can have that too. So I just want you to lay here for the first moment or so. I'm going to come around back with my bolster and use my block right on my head. Right, so your belly shouldn't have anything underneath it, right? You shouldn't feel your belly pressing into the block, bolster, blanket, right? Just your hips. And I don't love it with the block, right? You can see me squirming around. I'm trying to find the right place to be with it. It's okay. when you're ready here, right? You're gonna come down, put your forehead on the mat. Your arms are out long, right? Palms are face up. And what you're gonna do here, right? Really press the top of your right foot into the mat. And then you're gonna lift your left foot up. I feel like you can't see this here. I'm gonna try to angle myself a little differently here. So I'm here, right? I'm lifting my left foot up. I'm sweeping my left foot over. Flex your left foot and just tap the back of your right heel or your right calf with your left toes. And then take that left leg back over, place it down. I don't have the bolster, put it in the right place. Move it back a little bit more, right? So I'm here, and I'm gonna lift my right foot. Swing it over, flex it. I'm tapping my left toe, or my right toes to my left heel or my left calf. Lifting it back up, setting it back over. All right, so just do that twice more on each leg. Lift the left leg, sweep it over, tap the right. Bring it back over, drop it down. Lift the right leg, flex your toes, tap the left foot, bring it back, set it down. Do it one more time on each side. Lift that left leg, swing it over to tap, drop it back down. Lift the right leg, swing it over to tap, drop it back down. One more time on the left since we started on the right? Lift that left foot, swing it over, tap it, and then drop it back down. Now from here, you're gonna bring your hands to your chest and push yourself all the way back up into tabletop. All right, now you're gonna come from here with the bolster at the front of your mat, right? And we're gonna come over. Now what you're gonna do here, I'm trying to figure out how to do this so you can see. So you're gonna have the bolster at the top of your mat. Now, you're gonna have your chest just behind the bolster, right? And then you're gonna take your hands, your elbows come onto the bolster. My hands are in front of the bolster, right? So it's kind of like I'm moving the bolster, a hug in front of me. And I'm gonna let my head come all the way down. Now, if you don't have a bolster, what you're gonna do, you're gonna bring your arms to cactus arms, wide cactus arms, right? So your elbows are at the top of the mat. And then just let your forehead tap down. It's basically a supported locust. Few more breaths. You're going to take your hands up, bring your hands back behind the bolster, or if you can have a bolster, right, just press your palms into the mat. Push ourselves back up now into tabletop. Now as you come up to tabletop, take your feet out wide and shift your hips back. Bring your hips over your heels. Then just walk your hands out. I've got my bolster here, right? I let my hands land on the bolster and my head land in front of the bolster. See that? Yeah, you can, right? You can always turn the bolster the other way, pull it between your legs, let your arms go long and let your head rest on the bolster. Right? Or you can just do your regular child's pose if you're at home. So you don't have a bolster. You can use a block as a landing place for your head or your arms. Right? Like this. Here. Or you can be here. My preferred way of doing child's pose most of the time when I have a block available to me anyway, because it allows me to get my hips all the way back, right, while still feeling supported in my head. So take one of those options. I'm going to go over and grab a blanket so I can show you guys what I want you to do in the next thing. But you guys stay here in the child's pose. A few more breaths. Now when you're ready, come all the way up here. All right. And now I'm going to give you guys an option. So I want your hips to be slightly elevated here, right? If you have nothing else at home, right, you can grab some sort of blanket or cushion and put it under your hips. Right, so here we have this blanket. It could be as low as this, right? I've got it in the namaste fold. Maybe you want to give it an extra little fold, make it higher, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to sit right on the blanket. Now, it doesn't have to be the blanket, right? If you feel like you want to do this with your bolster under your hips, you can do that. If you have a block, you want to do it with a block, that's an option too, right? So eventually, we're going to lay all the way down, right? Don't do it right now, whether you're watching me at home or you're here in the studio, right? But you want to be able to lay down so that the blanket comes underneath your hips. I didn't have it quite in place, right? So I'm going to move it. Here's when I lay down, I've got the blanket right under my hips, right? But right now, you're going to sit up and you're in this hook line, so you're sitting on the blanket. Does that make sense? All right. So you want that slight elevation of the hips. Now what we're going to do here, you're going to take your hands, sweep them back behind you, lean onto your palms, pull your shoulder blades together, take your chin up to the sky. My friend Jean, who taught me this pose, she just called it the trucker girl pose, right? The girl on the mud flap. That's what you want to look like. Real thinking about it, I'm right. Just take 3 more breaths here, right? The goal here is to pull the shoulder blades together, open up through that chest, through that heart center, through that shoulder girdle, until your chin up to the sky, right? That's why we're doing this. All right, now from here, first let yourself come all the way back up. And now, this is where we're gonna lie back. I'm gonna turn sideways here, so I'm totally on the camera, but you're gonna lie back on your back. You want that blanket, bolster, whatever you're using, right underneath your hips. I'm trying to get to a place where my body is mostly thinking. Maybe it has to be like this. Off to the side a little bit. All right. So now we're here. You've got that blanket or the bolster or a block or a cushion, right? Something underneath your hips, something elevating your hips. That's all you want here, right? You're gonna take your right leg, bring it up to the sky, all right? And then you're gonna bend into your right knee. Bring your right knee towards your right armpit. Take your right hand to the inside of your right leg. And then you're gonna grab wherever you can around your right leg, right? So it's like you're trying to get that right leg to touch the ground outside your right shoulder. Now, maybe you grab all the way onto your foot, the inside or the outside of the foot. If you're just grabbing around your ankle, you might be higher on your calf, on your knee, wherever you grab, it's all good, right? It's like this little half happy baby. Now, think about it here. You want to keep that left shoulder anchored. Maybe you take your left leg and extend it long. The higher your hips are, the harder that is, right? You want to keep it clinched on the ground. So basically, we're in this half happy baby here. From here, you're going to kick that right leg up to the sky again. Right. And now you're going to take both hands somewhere behind your right leg. Maybe it's all the way up at your ankle or your foot. Maybe it's along your calf. Maybe it's at your knee. Maybe it's below your knee. Right. Between your knee and your thigh. Wherever you are, just really flex that right foot. Push your heel up towards the ceiling. Just pull that right leg a little bit more towards you. Don't bend into your right knee, right? You want to keep your right leg as straight as you can. Even if it means it doesn't come as close to your body, right? You might be way up here with your leg, and that's okay. Keeping the head and shoulders down here, keeping this a yin action. You want to feel that stretch in your hamstring. You have to pull everything up. Just pull that leg as close to you as you can. Pushing your heel towards the sky. Body will do the rest of the work. Release behind your right leg. You're going to bend that right knee. Let that right foot sit all the way down, or set all the way down next to your left. So you're back in that constructive rest position with the blanket or the bolster or the block under your hips. Take your left leg, kick it up to the sky, right? And then you're going to bend into your left knee. So you're bringing that left knee towards the outside of your left shoulder, right? So your left hand is on the inside of your left leg, and you're sliding it up. Again, maybe you can grab around your foot. Maybe you're grabbing onto your ankle. You're grabbing onto your shin or your knee. Right? You're pulling that knee down, like you're going to touch your knee down to the ground outside your left shoulder. Now the right leg can stay bent. If it feels good here and you want to extend that right leg, you can. It's great opening the hip flexors. The higher your hips are, the harder it becomes to do, right? But it's up to you. I want you to feel comfortable here, not like you're trying to strain. Hold your balance, get that foot out, right? Let's take 4 more breaths here. And then you're going to kick that left foot straight up grabbing your left leg by your ankle or your toes. Maybe it's at your calf and behind your knee. Maybe it's all the way in your thigh. Pulling that left leg in. Keeping it as straight as you can. Don't micro bend the left knee just to protect it. Right? If it has to come further away from you to stay straight, then you bring it further away from you. Feel that deep, deep stretch in your left hamstring. Now release behind that left leg and let it come all the way down. Send it down on the ground. Alright? Now, as we come here, right, you're gonna walk your heels in. A little closer to your glutes, as close to your glutes as you get them, right? Like we do when lifting up into bridge after vinyasa class. You're not gonna lift your hips up here. They're gonna stay flat on the blanket or on the bolster or on the block. You're gonna take your hands to your palm, to your sides, palm face down, like we do in bridge. So you're just in this basic supported bridge here. Right? This is comfortable to you. This is relaxing to you. You can stay here, right? You might be able to come into a full extended bridge here, especially if you're using, right, a low blanket. The lower you go, the easier it is to extend everything long. Have it still feel comfortable, right? This is still too much for me, but I'm gonna hold right here while I show it to you guys, right? Getting your knees, your toes up to the sky, right? And you want those hips pointed up towards the sky. Now, as I'm doing this, right, everything in me says, let it go. Let those hips turn out. Let those toes turn out. Let those knees turn out. That's what I just did, right? And then I'm not feeling anything, right? So I don't want to be there where I'm not feeling anything. I'm trying to get that release in the hip flexors, that release in the psoas. And what I've done by letting my toes and knees go out is just taken that completely out of the equation. So if that's what happens to you, you're better off just keeping your knees bent and bringing those heels in nice and close to your glutes. You'll get that opening of the psoas, the hips. Right? It doesn't have to be uncomfortable. You're staying right here. Your body's doing the work of releasing. It's okay. If you're getting a lot out of having your legs extended and it feels good to you, you feel that release happening there, it's not a struggle for you, then you stay there. From here, if you've got your legs extended, you're going to bend back into them, bring it back in. Feet are on the ground. Now everybody's going to pick up their feet. Take your knees, bring them into your chest. Okay? And then let your arms go out long, like wings, that T position. Right? We're going to try to do our twist right here with these elevated hips, right? So you just let your knees fall over to the right. Now my left hip lifted off the blanket. My feet are on the ground. My knees aren't coming to the ground. That's okay. Right? Same thing. You feel that little elevation, right? You feel that deeper twist, that deeper overstretch along your left IT band. That's what we're going for here. If you hate this, if it doesn't feel right to you, then pull whatever you've got underneath you, your blanket, your block, your bolster out from underneath you, and just do your regular twist. It's fine too. Right? You can always still take your right hand, press down on those knees with that right hand. Keeping that left shoulder down on the ground. A little more challenging, right? Feel a little bit more with those elevated hips. We're going to take 4 more breaths here. All right, now from here, bring your knees back to center. As we exhale, we're going to let the knees drop over to the left. Right, so it's the same thing here. Feet are on the ground, your knees probably aren't, right? That right hip is probably lifting off the ground, the blanket, the bolster, the block. You take that left hand and bring those knees closer down. And just stay with your left leg forward. Looking over your right shoulder. Keep that right shoulder anchored. From here, bring your knees all the way back, up to center. Give them one final hug into your chest. Now you're going to let your feet float back down here, right? And we're going to start to set up for our Shavasana. Now, you can do whatever you want, right? Just have that blanket, that bolster underneath your hips. You want to leave it there, leave it there. You want to take it out, switch it out, put something different underneath your hips or your knees. Use your bolster in any way. Use your blanket in any way you can, right? Sometimes at the end of a yin pose, I like to take my blanket and put it under my head, and then I take the bolster, put it underneath my knees, right? So it's like this. It's very comfortable. And you don't have to do that, right? This is just an option. You come wherever you want. Find your place where you're comfortable, whatever props you have, right? Maybe that's sitting up for you. Maybe that's rolling and curling onto your side. Just find somewhere to be where you're nice and comfortable. Get a nice, well, not as long as I had originally planned, but a nice long Shavasana tonight. Right, so make it worth your while. Let yourself be somewhere where you really are. And be able to stay perfectly still. You really are going to be able to let your mind go perfectly quiet. Right, I'm going to come around. If you're here in the studio, I'll spray your towel with a little sandalwood citrus. If you're at home, you have a towel. Put that towel over your eyes. If you don't have a towel, just close your eyes wherever you are. If you're sitting up, right? Let yourself withdraw from your senses. And that's the key to Shavasana. Here in the studio, it's nice and dark. Music's nice and quiet. Maybe too dark, right? I just gave them all a nice smelling towel. It makes it really easy to relax, hopefully, right? Maybe you're at home and it's not like that. Your kids screaming in the background, your dog's barking. But we're all trying to do the same thing here, whatever environment you're in, right? And that's withdraw from that environment enough. You no longer feel the need to process every bit of sensory input that comes at you. You want to get to a place where the only thing in your mind is you and your breath. Or even if the lights were bright. Even if your towel didn't smell good. Even if the music got really loud. That could all happen at once. And you would notice. Right? Because we really can't turn our senses off. They're like our body's warning system to tell us what's going on in the environment. Right? You would notice, but you wouldn't react. That's the key. You know that it's all okay. You're in a Shavasana, so you can just keep laying still. Get there. That's always going to be the true quiet of the mind. Now slowly start to come back into the room. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, feeling that increased sensation that comes with a quiet mind. If you want to here, you can take your arms overhead, do a nice full, deep body stretch. And from there, just roll over onto your right side in a fetal position. Take a couple breaths right there just to reacclimate to our space. Let the sights, the sounds, the room come back to you. Take as long as you need right here. Then when you're ready, hold when you're ready. Push yourself up to seated. And we will close here. All right, so we're going to close with just 2 Bhamari breaths. And then an Om, the Bhamari breath, we inhale as we exhale, make that little humming sound in the back of the throat. The Om is the universal syllable, it uses all parts of the throat. Right, so you can join me in these breaths, or if you'd rather just listen, then just listen. But let's close our eyes here. We'll inhale together. final inhale, one final time, and Om. Let your eyes drift open. Bring your hands to heart center. Thank you, all of you, for sharing your energy, your practice with me this evening. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste. All right, so I'll see you all again on Saturday, right? But we will have no class on Sunday because that's Easter Sunday. But come join me Saturday. Otherwise, tomorrow morning, Angie's here for more Yin Yang. So come join her for that, all right? And I will see you guys soon.